Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we are taking a look at whether you should use Dragon Tail or Dragon Breath on your Ultra League Dragonite. To start with, let's take a look at the moves. Both moves have the exact same energy generation, but Dragon Tail has slightly more damage per turn and is a 3-turn fast move compared to a 1-turn fast move for Dragon Breath. So on paper, Dragon Tail looks better, but I went to PvP to run an attack breakpoint simulator to compare Dragon Breath and Dragon Tail to determine overall which move does more damage per turn. And as you guys can see, with comparing Dragonite's matchups with a lot of the Ultra Premier Cup meta, it looks like that overall Dragon Tail does have more matchups where it has better damage per turn than Dragon Breath. So that, combined with the fact that if you're able to sneak a fast move through, since Dragon Tail is a 3-turn fast move, you're going to be getting a lot more energy and damage in that one snuck move than Dragon Breath. Personally, I would advise for Dragon Tail. So without further ado, now that we've found the moveset that we believe is the strongest, let's hop into some battles and let's take a look at Dragon Tail Dragonite in action. Picking up a pretty neutral lead here versus Cavalier, and as you can see right away, we're able to sneak through a Dragon Tail. So that gives us a really nice advantage in this matchup, as we have 3 free turns of damage and energy that we wouldn't have had before. We're able to load up these Dragon Claws back to back. I did decide to shield the Mega Horn because Dragonite isn't the tankiest ever, and we're able to farm down thanks to that extra Dragon Tail before they get to another move. And they bring out a Dragalge, so a Dragon Tail user of their own. I'm going to get a shield with the Dragon Claw and safe swap into the Poison Jab Alolan Muck. I decided to run Poison Jab, so that way I would have 2 hard punishes to a Charm lead, so that way my Dragonite doesn't have to come up against it. My opponent has a Talonflame in the back. I'm only getting to 1 move, so I'm going for the Sludge Wave, and the Sludge Wave does a nice amount of damage. I am going to probably bring in the Dragonite here, basically to soak damage, and then I'm going to rely on Empoleon to close the match. I'm 100% okay with letting this go, so I'm going to no shield, and my opponent baits, oh no, and I'm able to farm down, and I'm going to be able to get off a Dragon Claw versus the Dragalge, which is fantastic. This should be getting the shield, and now I can switch into Empoleon, and with a shield advantage, I'm going to be able to win the match, and the opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the game. Alright, hopping into the next match here, Dragonite into Machamp. So a fairly good matchup. As you can see, these Dragon Tails chunk, but the thing you have to watch for, of course, is going to be the Rock Slide. As Rock Slide will be very painful. I'm going to build up to the 2 Dragon Claws and go back to back here and hopefully be doing a nice amount of damage or getting the shield. Honestly, either one is totally fine. So we're going to be going for the Dragon Claw here. We're able to get both shields, which is fantastic. And so at this point, I'm pretty comfortable with shielding up, farming down, and having switch advantage. They actually switch out into an Alolan Ninetales, the Powder Snow variant, so I am going to counter swap into my Empoleon, and Empoleon completely walls this thing, so I'm in a really comfortable matchup. They even land a Dazzling Gleam, and that's just not going to do enough. I'm going to farm up quite a bit of extra energy before going for the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon does get it low. Unfortunately, they're able to get to a move. I believe this is just a Weather Ball, though, so we can pretty safely tank that, farm down, and we have a loaded move for whatever comes in. It is the Machamp, but since we have the Drill Peck, that's going to be able to take out the Machamp, and they have a Jellicent in the back. This is going to be a little tricky. XL Jellicent is absurdly tanky. In the Ultra League, as you can see, that Drill Peck does absolutely nothing, which is just terrible. We don't have any shield, so we let this go. It's a Bubble Beam. I'm going to aggressively swap into my Dragonite, so that way they don't get to farm me down. And I'm able to land the Dragon Claw, which is nice. That does a solid chunk of damage. And they'll have to throw the nuke move, the Shadow Ball here, to take me out, which is totally fine. And now I can come in with the Alolan Muck. And at this point, the game is won. There's not really anything that the Jellicent can do. They're just going to be going for Bubble Beams. And since they're running an XL Jellicent, I may as well BM them just a little bit. So we are going to go for the Resisted Sludge Wave onto the Jellicent, and it is going to be taking them out and allows us to win the game. So they had a double XL team, but we were able to get the win. Hopping into the next match against the Nidoqueen, another XL Mon. This is actually a really bad matchup for Dragonite, even though we are able to sneak a Dragon Tail through there, because with Poison Fang it absolutely destroys us. They actually switch out into Umbreon though, which is fantastic for us. I'm not quite sure why they switched, but I'm very happy they did. We're able to land the Hurricane, and now we're going to hop into the Poison Jab Alolan Muck. This is a really nice matchup here because they're forced to go for Last Resort, which is non-stab and not the greatest move ever, whereas we're doing neutral with our Poison Jabs, and the Sludge Wave should KO from this range. Sludge Wave takes them out, which is fantastic, and we're in a pretty good spot here because we're going to be able to align our Empoleon with the Nidoqueen, and we'll be in a pretty comfortable position. Unfortunately, they have an Escavalier, so we are not out of the woods yet, as Escavalier is going to be able to drill run us, and that's going to be able to take us out. But since I know what alignment I want, I'm going to come in with the Dragonite, and I'm going to be going for the Dragon Claw. And this is resisted damage, but it does chunk. So we're able to do a nice amount of damage, and here I fully let this go as I'm going to need to save the shields for Empoleon. I quickly switch, even though I'm taking super effective damage, since the Escavalier is pretty damaged, I'm actually in an okay spot here. It's only getting to one move, they go for the Drill Run, and in comes the Nidoqueen. And Nidoqueen did switch out with a little bit of energy, so I have to respect this as a potential Earth Power. It's the Poison Fang bait. Oh, this is not good. They throw again. I don't think they have enough for an Earth Power here. It is just the Poison Fang. We're able to farm down. Waterfall takes out the Escavalier and gets us the win. You love to see it. Hopping into the next match, Dragonite into Venusaur. Absolutely amazing lead. Can't ask for much better than that. And we have an amazing counter swap. So I'm going to build up to a Dragon Claw and switch into Empoleon, because Empoleon can survive any one charge move from Talonflame. So I was able to bank some extra energy, and now I'm going to be able to throw this Hydro Cannon and either take them out or pressure a shield. And they decide to shield, so they're looking to get shields down, but that honestly works for me. I'm perfectly fine with shielding this Flame Charge and farming down the Talonflame. This energy lead will allow me to reach a Drill Peck, but unfortunately Venusaur is going to be able to farm me down, but since I farmed up to a Dragon Claw on my Dragonite, I should be able to throw a move against this Venusaur. So I'm going to be able to come in with the Dragonite here. Unfortunately, I over-tap, so I'm not able to click the Dragon Claw, and now I have to eat a Sludge Bomb, which is unfortunate, but I am going to be able to get off the Dragon Claw after the fact, and this will be getting it very low. They switch out. They have a Galvantula in the back, so we should be in a pretty good spot here. I should be able to get the shield with this Dragon Claw, and then I'm going to switch into my Poison Jab Alolan Muck, and we're going to be able to get to the Dark Pulse, which is going to be taking care of the Galvantula, and I mean, we have a shield, so we can definitely use it here, and the poor Venusaur is in farm down range for Poison Jab. So even though we are now double debuffed, Dark Pulse is definitely going to do enough. Galvantula is pretty squishy, and the Venusaur comes back in and concedes the match. Alright, hopping into the next match here, leading Dragonite into Goodra. Ooh, so a spice pick there. Very, very cool. So you can see those Dragon Tails are chunking. And we are going to be able to get a shield with the Dragon Claw, which is very nice. And then I'm going to aggressively switch into my Poison Jab Alolan Muck, and they counter swap with a Politoed. I'm going to be going for the Dark Pulse here, because I'm going to need 2 moves to take them out, so I may as well go for my 2 cheapest moves. Pretty sure this is just a Weather Ball, and Weather Balls from Politoed, honestly, Alolan Muck can handle them pretty well, so we can even survive another one if need be. Weather Ball, that's totally fine, and we're able to reach the second Dark Pulse, and it's unlikely my opponent wants to go down by 2 shields, so they decide to let that go. The downside is they are going to be able to come in with Goodra, and Goodra has farmed up a ton of energy. At this point, I'm thinking I should probably bring in Empoleon, just because even if they have Power Whip, I can still tank Power Whip. They go for it. It's non-stab, so it's not terrible by any means, but I am probably going to have to commit the first shield here, as the second Power Whip would be getting me really, really low. They aggressively switch out, and they have a Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and this is exactly where we want to see it, as we still have a shield and an energy lead, so we are going to be able to go for these back-to-back Hydro Cannons, and we're going to be in a really comfortable position here, because my opponent is not going to be able to get to a Rock Slide and an Earthquake, so they have to throw the Nuke here. They choose not to, and I'm just able to farm them down, and at this point, they decide to concede the match, as Goodra is not going to be able to do enough damage to win them the game. Hopping into the next match here, and picking up a lead versus a Shadow Snorlax. They're going to save swap into Kingdra, and I lag a whole bunch, which is really, really rough. And I'm going to be going for the Dragon Claw because I want shield advantage before I swap in my Empoleon. I'm pretty sure they're just going to go for the Octazooka, so I am going to no shield this. Unfortunately, I get debuffed, which is super, super terrible. I am going to be going for these Drill Pecks, but they're neutral, they're non-stab, and I'm debuffed, so they're really not going to be doing a lot, which is really unfortunate. They go for another Octazooka. This one does not debuff, but as you're going to see, when I land this Drill Peck, it's not even doing close to enough to take them out. Oh, that is brutal. And they are going to be able to farm me down, which is very unfortunate. I come in with the Dragonite because I'm thinking they're probably just going to go straight Octazooka. So I call it. We're able to call it, which is huge. We're able to farm down. Now I'm aggressively switching, and they have a Clefable in the back. All I have to do is not let my Sludge Wave be caught. I'm over farming, trying to throw in the middle, and they still catch it. Oh my goodness. I am choking this match right now. This is super unfortunate. I have 2 shields though. I have 2 shields. So I should be okay here. Because all I need to do is just get to 2 moves. I farm past 100. They're able to get to another charge move. And then I realize I should have just farmed down. But it's a CMP tie. So just, it is difficult to choke this hard. I switched to the Dragonite to defer the charm, and we just can't get to the Sludge Wave. So I had that game. It was so winnable, but unfortunately misplay after misplay doomed me. Hopping into the next match here, picking up a pretty solid lead versus a Talonflame, and we're going to be going for the Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, does not KO, so they can safely let that go and apply a ton of pressure with a Brave Bird if they so desire. They do go for the Brave Bird, which means they're switching out, and they're going to bring out a Kingdra, and again, I'm at a shield disadvantage, so at least I want to make it so I'm on even shields before I bring in the Empoleon. So we're able to make it so it's even shields, and the Empoleon comes in, and I typically no shield the first move in this matchup, and they actually outrage me. Interesting. Typically they don't do that, but that's good to know. We are going to be able to fight back with this Drill Peck though, and Drill Peck is going to be doing a solid chunk since we're not debuffed. They throw, and at this point I have a very tough decision to make. I opt to let it go. The Octazooka does take me out, and I come in with the Alolan Muck to farm down, and they bring out the Talonflame, which is very interesting. And since they switched out, I'm thinking it could be a grass type in the back, something that really doesn't want to see Alolan Muck, and there you have it. It's a Venusaur. Oh, Alolan Muck is eating good tonight. We switch into the Dragonite, basically just to force them to burn their energy, and from here we're in a really commanding position where we are going to be able to win the game. And here, I'm not too worried about any move that the Venusaur throws. Frenzy Plant, that's fine. I'm going to be able to farm down. I was more worried about the Kingdra, but it turns out it had basically no HP, so a couple Poison Jabs does the trick. All right, hopping into the next match, picking up a pretty tough lead versus an Empoleon. Since we're running Poison Jab on Alolan Muck is absolutely helpless against Empoleon for the most part. But as you can see, we're able to get an extra Dragon Tail through, which is very nice. I'm going to execute Fast Move Denial so they don't get an extra Waterfall. Dragon Claw, oh, does get a shield. Interesting. And we're going to be going for another Dragon Claw here. Just beginning to just start spamming them out. And we're able to get to yet another Dragon Claw, which is fantastic. And this is going to be applying a lot of pressure to them. Unfortunately, they live with 1 HP, and I'm fully content with letting this go. And I should be in a pretty good position since they're so low to farm them down with the Alolan Muck. And they bring out a Talonflame, so this is a pretty good sign for me, to be honest. Because if they have a Talonflame, then my Empoleon is going to be doing really, really well. So we're able to land the Dark Pulse, which is fantastic. And I am going to be shielding this up, because if I want to, I can probably commit to the farm down. Again, double shielding, and the fact that they're staying in here tells me that they could be weak in the back. So we are going to farm all the way down, and it's a Venusaur in the back. So not revealing our back Pokemon ended up being absolutely huge, as we're going to be able to just start absolutely deluging this Venusaur with charge attacks. Dark Pulse comes through, does huge damage. I try and catch onto my Empoleon. No such luck, but I'm able to sneak a waterfall through as they throw, so their count may be off, and I am able to get to a drill peck, so we are going to be able to clutch this out and take the win. Again, that Poison Jab Alolan Muck putting in work. The damage, I know the damage got buffed on Poison Jab, but you can definitely feel it. All right, hopping into the next match. A nice lead here with the Venusaur, and they're going to save swap into Empoleon. And again, I don't really have a great response to an Empoleon save swap. So I am going to get some chip damage with the Dragon Claw, and I try and catch onto my own Empoleon. Was hoping to catch a Drill Peck. No such luck, but now we're in the Empoleon mirror. Hydro Cannon comes through, that's fine. Hydro Cannon really doesn't do a lot. Unfortunately, I lose CMP. And I am going to shield because I really want to preserve alignment, because Dragonite had a very nice matchup versus that Venusaur. Hydro Cannon does get them low, and we're at a shield disadvantage, but we are going to be able to farm down. The issue is that Venusaur is probably looking to farm us down, but we're healthier than we were last time. So I'm going to throw on the second waterfall, so that way I'm hopefully not giving them any free turns, although it looks like they were able to sneak an extra one through. So something, the best laid plans going to ruin. Ah, well. They decide to throw. They don't want to eat a Drill Peck. That makes perfect sense. And I'm going to come in with the Dragonite. At this point, I probably should have let this go. But I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to feature Dragonite. We'll shield it. They have a Snorlax in the back. And I'm going to overfarm here and go for the Dragon Claw. We do get the shield. And now I switch in the Alolan Muck. And as you can see, over-farming there will prove to be absolutely crucial endgame. Snorlax is just going to start body slamming, which is totally fine because they don't want to lower their defense by throwing a superpower. Makes perfect sense. Dark Pulse does get the shield. And as you can see, these Poison Jabs are really adding up. I still think Snarl is probably the better move overall, but for this specific team, I was enjoying the Poison Jab quite a bit. They switch in the Venusaur. I'm forced to throw. Unfortunately, they're now at an energy lead, so they are going to be able to get to a move. But if you remember, I did save some energy on my Dragonite, so I'm only 2 Dragon Tails away from getting to a move. 1, 2, we're able to get there, and that is going to be enough to take out the Snorlax and to give us the game. So a very sweaty game, but able to come out on top. Hopping into the next match, an absolutely horrendous lead in Abomasnow. We're going to save swap into our Empoleon, and we bait out a Machamp. Oh, this is absolutely brutal. I'm going to let this go because, as we know, we can totally survive a cross chop. Barely, but honestly, I wasn't 100% sure that I could survive it, but now that I'm doing post-commentary, I can sound confident. I was like, yeah, I knew I could survive that. In the moment, I just knew that I didn't want to commit shields in the matchup. I do shield because it is the Rock Slide, and now it's a counting game. I'm going to try and farm down. They throw, I believe they're just short of a Rock Slide, so I am going to risk it and call it. They were short, just a cross chop. They actually aggressively switch in the Abomasnow, so I go for the nuke. I'm hoping to one-shot. They shield, but now Poison Jab Alolan Muck doing super effective damage. Those Poison Jabs are absolutely shredding the Abomasnow. Oh my goodness. Weather Ball comes through. They have another one. That's fine. Alolan Muck can tank these Weather Balls. We are chilling. Farming up as much as I dare and going immediately for the Dark Pulse because Abomasnow is super spammy. We're able to take them out, and they have a Jellicent in the back, so this is going to be a very tough game. They go straight for the Bubble Beam, which doesn't kill me, so I'm actually able to... Oh, and they try and do a sacrificial swap. Unfortunately, they deferred the Poison Jab onto that Pokemon, so not quite able to pull it off there. And I know this is probably just a Bubble Beam, but I have to shield it because they're just going to be able to Hex down. And now I'm going for the Dragon Claw. I believe this is probably CMP. Go for the Dragon Claw. Lands it. It is CMP. This is going to come down to trying to Poison Jab down a Ghost type. Bubble Beam takes me out. I'm undebuffed on the Muck. And we're able to Poison Jab down and take the win. Oh my goodness. What a close game. Hopping into the next match. More XLs. An XL Jellicent. As you can see, I'm intentionally going for the extra Dragon Tail because in comparison to Dragon Breath, I'm going to get a lot more extra energy. And they switch in a Venusaur, which is a very interesting swap into a Dragonite. So I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw to soften it up and hop in with my Alolan Muck. And Alolan Muck is going to be resisting all charging moves from the Venusaur, so we're in a pretty comfortable position here. Again, totally fine. We can let this go. And we're just going to be building up a bunch of energy, hopefully up to 2 Dark Pulses. The first one should be taking out the Venusaur, and the second one can threaten the Jellicent. They do come actually in with a Shadow Kingdra. So a very interesting team there. Shadow Kingdra, I go for the nuke. Unfortunately, they do shield it up, but now I know what alignment I want. I want the Empoleon on the Shadow Kingdra, and unfortunately, Shadow Kingdra just doesn't perform quite as well as the regular. That drop in defense is really painful. They go for the Outrage, does a lot. They switch in the Jellicent, but I'm able to quickly swap back into the Dragonite and start peppering them with Dragon Claws. We let this go. It's a Shadow Ball. That really hurts, to be honest, but the good news is we survive it, and we're able to get to another Dragon Claw. The bad news is they got a Hex through, and they're going to be able to Hex down. This is absolutely terrible. And here, my only play is to play for that extra waterfall. I have to shield up. It's the Shadow Ball. That's big. And now I just need to farm down. And my opponent made a mistake. They probably should have Bubble Beamed there, as I now have back-to-back Drill Pecks. And since I'm not debuffed, these Drill Pecks are going to be enough to take out the Shadow Kingdra and give us a very improbable victory. Let's go. All right, hopping into the next match, Dragonite into Venusaur. Fantastic lead for us. And they're staying in. This is honestly very, very surprising for me, as if they're staying in, I'm expecting them to be double weak. Building up, and now we're going to go for the back-to-back Dragon Claws to do some nice chip damage. The first one does get the shield, which does make a bit of sense, and at this point, I am fully willing to shield this up because I'm expecting they're pretty weak in the back. They come in with a Gallade. I'm going for the Hurricane. We're going for it all. Big damage. Oh, and they shield it. Gallade is the newest member of the Destroyer of Fun Club. I was really wanting to land that Hurricane. They go for the close combat, and unfortunately their defense is lowered here. So that Leaf Blade doesn't kill, and since my Poison Jab is only 2-turn compared to the 4-turn Confusion, I'm actually able to get to a Dark Pulse that takes them out. So honestly, we're doing pretty okay here. They have their own Empoleon in the back, and I'm forced to go into the mirror. I have to play for the extra waterfall if possible to catch up, since they're 1 waterfall ahead, and we're able to get it back. This is very crucial, as now we're even on energy. I execute Fast Move Denial, but I fail, and they're able to get an extra waterfall through, so they're back to being 1 ahead. And here I lose CMP. Oh man, this is rough. This is going to come very close, but we live with 1 HP. We're able to get off our Hydro Cannon. We have a really good IV Empoleon, and there's dies. Here I'm spamming the switch button into the Dragonite, and we're able to get to the Dragon Claw, which is going to be enough to take out the Venusaur and give us the game. So again, a very, very sweaty game, but able to get the win. Hopping into the next match, Dragonite into Obstagoon. Obstagoon, unfortunately, our backline really doesn't like to see this, so we're definitely going to want to try and get shields down and get some damage off on it. Fortunately, those Dragon Tails are really, really chunking, and they get to 2 moves. I can let the first one through in case they boost. The second one, I will decide to start shielding. And we're going to be going for these Dragon Claws here, and they're going to be doing a solid chunk of damage. First one comes through, so the second one, there's a solid chance we see a shield here, to be honest, and we do see the shield, and they're able to get to another move. I'm going to shield this up because, again, Dragonite video, may as well shield it, see what it can do. Dragonite able to farm down. See what they have in the back. They have a Clefable. I'm going to panic switch into Empoleon. Oh no, and they have a Talonflame in the back. So the Obstagoon was their Empoleon coverage, and now that there's an Empoleon just absolutely free on their back line, they're in a lot of trouble. Flame Charge comes through. Again, that's fine. We can survive that. And we're able to get to a Hydro Cannon. This is going to be able to take them out. And the Clefable, unfortunately, will be able to farm down our Empoleon. But the good news is we have Poison Jab, Alolan Muck in the back to hit them for super effective damage. Those Poison Jabs are chunking. Oh my goodness. They have a Meteor Mash. That's fine. We're good there. And we go for the Sludge Wave. Honestly, Dark Pulse probably would have killed there, but I was going for the emphatic kill, and we're able to clutch it out and get the win. Hopping into the next match, Dragonite into Dragonite. So let's take a look at the mirror. And this is one situation where the Dragon Tail and the Dragon Breath actually do the exact same damage per turn. So in the mirror match, it is indistinguishable. They unfortunately win CMP. I believe I have a rank 11 Dragonite, so I lose a lot of CMPs. We're able to take them out. They have a Lapras, and I'm going to save swap into Empoleon. We're going straight for the Drill Peck before they can get off a Skull Bash. I believe Skull Bash is the way to go in this match. Unfortunately, I only get a Great because it's well known that I am the worst bubble tapper in the community, and it's not close. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's just rough. Now we're going for the Drill Peck, and Drill Peck is just not a great move. But for some reason, they shield after they Skull Bashed, which is definitely a mistake. You typically want to shield the Drill Peck that's thrown before you Skull Bash, as it would do more damage than after. The fact that they're staying in is really, really nice for me here. And they Surf, even better. That's fantastic. They're going to throw again. Again, this is totally fine because we were able to actually keep the Lapras in. And now I'm going to switch in the Alolan Muck. And they have a Charizard. I'm playing for the extra Poison Jab, and I get it. This is really, really nice. They go for the Dragon Claw here. I'm over farming as much as I can, and we're very close to 2 Dark Pulses. First one gets the shield. Second one comes through, and this is going to be getting that Charizard very, very low. Which it does. One more Poison Jab takes them out. Looks like they may have overtapped. Lapras comes in, and my opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All right, and hopping into the final match. Dragonite into what? An XL Shadow Beedrill. What spice? Holy crap, that is some insane spice. Dragon Claw gets the shield, and now they're going to switch into a Shadow Gallade. So a very, very cool team. And I'm going to counter swap into my Poison Jab Alolan Muck, as we can tank a close combat. It hurts, but we can tank it. And I'm going to be going for the Sludge Wave since I'm only getting to 1 move. And my opponent actually burns the second shield. So I'm more than happy to give them a switch advantage in that particular situation. I come in with the Dragonite. All charge moves are resisted except for Synchronize, but most people don't run Synchronize. But on the off chance they did, I decided to shield that up. All right, so they have switch advantage, but they come back in with the Beedrill. I'm a little worried they have Sludge Bomb, so I shield. It's just an X Scissor bait, and they have a Kingdra in the back. So we're going to be able to do a nice chunk of damage with this Dragon Claw and then hop in with our Empoleon, and we should be in a pretty good spot as we're just going to farm up to 2 Drill Pecks. We get a Waterfall through as they throw, which is even better. They're just going straight Outrage, which makes quite a bit of sense. We're going to farm up to the 2 Drill Pecks. The first one will take out the Kingdra, and the second one will take out the Shadow Beedrill. So an incredibly cool Spice Pick, but unfortunately, it's not quite enough to take out our Dragon Tail Dragonite line. So in conclusion, with this team, I'll be honest, guys, I don't play a lot of Ultra Premier. I typically play Open Ultra. I went 15-10 with this team, and I was able to climb a decent amount. And based on the research, I'm convinced Dragon Tail Dragonite is going to be the way to go in the Ultra League. Granted, that may not be the case for, let's say, Gyarados or something like that, but for the Ultra League, for Dragonite, in my opinion, Dragon Tail is going to be the way to go. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.